Hello and welcome to another Nikomedia tutorial. Today we will make this pattern here and we animate this and we will be able to make any object with this pattern. So I'll show you what I mean. This is here, we will make this, and if we animate this we can go through it like this. And you see we have some noise here in the height, and this everything, when the effector goes over it, everything disappears. We have here bevel and everything, and the bevel disappears when we go over it, and at last we have a plain surface here. And we will do this with different objects. So let's see here. This is the start, and then we can make something with a spline and an extrude, something like this. Or let's make. We do also a user data control in the Xpresso. So for this, but I want to change the bevel here without rounding. Go to the bevel rounding, go back. I can change here the bevel height and everything. We can change the extrude height, we can change how many clones we want, and we can change the radius of the hexagons and everything. But if you don't want to watch this tutorial or something else, I give this whole rig here for free for download, and so you can play with it. I show you how you play with it. If you want different objects in here, let's say here you see I have the circle in the pool. I take this pool, activate the pool, show the circle. Now we have this. This is our circle. If we render this, let's go to our camera. If we render this, we get something like this here. Okay, you see what I mean? And now here we have the same with a star. Let's say go and take this out here, hide it, put this extrude in with the star, show the star, render this one, and of course you get this. So you can put almost every shape in it. Take a spline and make an extrude and put it just in this pool and you have it. And of course you can now change the radius of the bevel, as I said. Let's say we may want here, we have here the controls, rounding with 5, render this one, and if you like it more, here maybe it's, yeah, it looks better here with the rounding, I think. And here's the difference. Yeah. Okay, this we will make now. So just let's start a new project. So file, new. Then go in the top view. We need an n-gon, inside. Let's say a radius of 100. So we have easy calculations. And now we need to clone this n-gon. Go to MoGraph, cloner, and now it's not so, we don't need the y-axis, we need the x-axis. It's not so easy to clone this to get this pattern, because every time we have to, you didn't say okay, let's here, then go up, and because we need to be exactly on the edges so that we get this very plain surface. And for this we make a little math. Yeah, so we need a formula, an easy formula, and I found it on Google, of course, and here in Wikipedia. The only thing I need is this length here, this Ri. This is this formula. It's the only thing I need. And this it says A, but A is Ru, so this is our outer radius, in our case 100. Is the same like one side of the hexagon. And this A multiplied by the square root of 3. The square root of 3 is 1.732. You can count it, or you can calculate it with a calculator or something else. So it's 1.732. And this then divided by 2. Then we have this length here. It's the only one we need. So, okay, for the x-axis, here it's easy. We need just 1.5 times the radius, the outer radius. So this is this 100. 100 multiplied with 1.5 is 150. Okay. And here we need our math. So this says we need one side, or the outer radius. This was 100. Multiplied with the square root of 3. This is multiplied with 1.732. Enter. And now this, from this result we need the half. So divided by 2, and we are exactly on the edges. This is exactly what we need. Okay. The next thing is we need another cloner. Let's call this cloner 1. And activate the cloner. Go to MoGraph. Hold your Alt key on the keyboard and go press on cloner. Call it cloner 2. Okay. And here it's easy too. We don't need. Why? We need here this result on Z twice, so multiplied by 2. So copy this, Control C on the keyboard, go to the second, Control V, multiplied by 2, and we get a wonderful pattern. And now, of course, we can change how many we need and everything. But we want to make this with an Xpresso. So, because if we change now the radius of the inside, you see everything breaks. And we want it like this. So if we change this radius, everything should look, every time and everything should look like this. So, but at first I want to start with some user data here in the Xpresso. I want to make some user data, and for this I want to make the user data for the slider for the radius of the inside, for the count of X and count of Z and something else. So we have a nice rig later. So for this I take a null object, call it control. You can call it however you want. Control. Here on the control we go to user data, manage user data, and now we first say add group. We put this group out of this user data, so later we don't have here a thing with a tab with user data, and our tab then is called as we want it, named as we want it. So we put this out of this and call this rig control. Okay. And now if I say OK, you see we have here rig control instead of user data. Okay, now back to our user data, manage user data, go to our rig control, add data. First I want a radius. Okay, this shall be a floor. Yeah, we want to. Yeah, make it a float slider, and not percent. We need real here, and I want a step from 0.1. So because maybe someone wants a radius with 5.5 or 5.6, I do a step of 0.1. So the maximum radius, I say, for me it's, let it but 1000, it's okay, but make a slider minimum, a slider maximum, and the slider maximum here I take 200. So on the slider it's just 200 then, but you can go over and go to 1000. So at the default value I say let's make 100. Okay, this is the first thing. Now I need another data, call it count x. Here I take an integer slider, step 1, yes, and the minimum is, for me is, 2 by 2 is the one that I see something. So let's make 2 here, maximum 100, should be okay, more is, the computer slows down, then let's say that's okay. So 1, 2 to 100. Okay, and the default value is 2. Okay, now we copy this one, so just hold your control key and drag it down. So we have a copy, count Z, and it's okay. And if we say now okay, see we have here our user data. Now we make an Xpresso. Go to the Cinema 4D tags, Xpresso. We get our Xpresso window here. And here now, I go to the control and drag the control in here. Then I take the radius here, drag it on the red corner. The same I do with the count X, drag it on the red corner, and the count Z. Okay. Now for the radius, this is the radius we need here on the end side. Drag the end side in, and here on the radius, click on the radius and just drag it on the blue corner and connect it. Next thing is the X here. It's the cloner 1. Take the cloner 1 in here and drag this count in on the blue box and connect it. And now we need, for count Z, we need the cloner 2. Drag it in here. And we need the count here too. So, and connect it. So, let's go down here. Now if we go to our control, normally it should work if I go to count X. You see, I have this, and count Z, we have this. I'll make it smaller that you can see it better. Whoops, and everything works fine. Okay. But the only problem we have now is if we change the radius of the hexagon, we have this problem. And so here we need a little math again. For this problem, we take our n-gun, put it in here, and here we need for the radius of our n-gun, and we need the cloner. We need this these spaces here, also these values here, and yeah, I'll show you what I mean. Take the cloner, put it in here, and we set the first cloner here. We set the x-axis, drag it in here, px. This we said is 1.5 times the radius, this radius. So we can make a new node, Xpresso, calculate, math, and we go from this radius input. The math we need is multiplied by 1.5, and the output is this x then here. Next thing is we need the set. The set is we make another multiply. You can copy this, so hold your control key on your keyboard and just drag it a little down, and is the radius multiplied with the square root of 3. So this was 1.732 is the square root of 3. Okay. And this result divided by 2. So we need another math node. And this makes just the divided by 2. So, and this output then is the set. Okay, here is something wrong. What did we do? Multiply by 173, that's okay. The output divide by 0.73 by 2. Now it works, okay. Okay. Now let's see if it works. And for the cloner 2 we need the radius, we need here the cloner 2, and we need just the set. And this is this output here, this is the radius, multiplied with 1.732 the square root of 3, but not divided by 2, so we just go out from here directly to here. And now this whole thing should work. Go to our control, and if we change now the radius, you see everything works. We make it smaller, we make here more, change the radius, no problem. No problem at all. And this was the hard work. Okay. Now, later we will make some more Xpressos, but just easy ones like the height of the extrusion and the height of the bevel, and so that's easy. So we don't need any math, no math anymore. Okay. So, sorry. Go here, 2 by 2 for the moment. So the next thing is we need an extrusion on this inside. So activate this inside and sorry, come on. We activate this inside. Go to extrusion. Hold your Alt key, and we extrude it, of course, in the right direction. Something like this. Okay, and of course everything works now. Why not? But let's make here 50 for the radius. And here 10 by 10. And you will see we have a totally flat surface. So if we render this, we have a totally plain flat surface. Good. So far. And what we want now, we want a transition from no bevel to beveled extrusion. For this we need a second extrude. Let's say this is the extrude with bevel. We give this a bevel. Let's say caps, fillet caps, 5, make 10 so we see it better. Okay, but now if you watch from the above, you see the whole cloners intersect. So what we need to do is here to check constraint. Now we have our cloners beveled, and we need create single object. But now you see we get some shading issues. So go to the phone tag and put it about 20 or 10 or whatever, very low. So now it's okay. And then we need another extrude in the cloner. So just copy this extrude bevel, so hold your control key and drag it down. And this we call extrude no bevel. We go here, and in the Philips we take here null. Yeah. Okay. But now we get this one here. And the reason is we have here our clones to iterate, but we need blend. And now you see we get this. Here we have no bevel and we get beveled. Okay. So far so good. And now we want to animate this whole thing. At first I want to rotate this a little bit. Something like this, 90 degrees. Okay. So, and now, but I want the no bevel above, so it's here. Yeah, so I like it, I think. But it doesn't matter. But you will see what I do. Next thing is we need an effector. We go to our cloner 1 and take an effector, plane effector. And we don't want position. We only want here in the parameters modify clones. And if we put this up, you see we have the blending is away, and that's good so. but I want, if it's out, I want it to be flat. So I go to the effector, to the min-max step and go here to maximum -100. Okay. Then we need a second plane effector. So let's go to our cloner one. If you activate the cloner one and you take then an effector, it's automatic in here. So, but otherwise, if you don't have it in here, just drag it in here. So cloner one, effector, plane effector, and this is my plane effector float. No position and just modify clones, and then we get this back. But what we want to do now is in the plane float we go to the fall off, take a linear fall off. Here we have our plane effector. I'll put it somewhere here. Make it a little bigger, so maybe from above we see it better. Yeah. Make it a little bigger. Something like that. The fall off with 50 here. It should be okay. And now you see, if we go through this, we get our plane thing. Whoop. That's exactly what we want. Okay. And now we want this whole thing a little noisier. So I'll make this a little bigger here again, 15 by 15. Let's see. Yeah, it works fast, everything is okay. I want the float more here, so doesn't matter where it is. Okay, fine. The next thing we need for our up and downs here for our noise is a Shada Effector. So we go to our cloner, go to the MoGraph, Effectors, Shada Effector. Okay, we don't want to scale. We just want the effector to affect the position in Y. Let's say 100 or -100, -100. And now in the shading we want some noise. You see it starts. In the noise we don't want texture, we go to world, and now you see we have this noise here. I want to extrude a little more, so go here to 200. Okay. And maybe a little more, a little higher noise, so go back to our Shada Effector. Noise, here we go to the parameter and say -150. Okay. But if we go now to our plane float, you see just the bevel disappears. But we want everything on flat, everything plane later. So I take this Shada Effector, fall off, go to linear as well. doesn't matter where it is, so do it about this. And I wanted that this Shada Effector works a little before the float effector works. And put the Shada Effector under the float effector, the float plane, and if we drag the plane now, everything should work. And everything works. Come on. Let's render this and see if... Okay. Yeah. I would say that's it. Maybe... No, I think that the Shada Effector is in the right position. That's okay. You can do it however you want. You can do the Shada Effector maybe a little. It isn't. Try it now. Maybe it's a little better. No. So, but this you can make however you want. So this is this thing, the float effector. I give this float and another layer, so I don't have to search for it every time. Add a layer. No, not violet. Let's say orange. Okay. And now I would say you should save this project. And yes, now we do a little more Xpresso, so we can change our height of the extrusion, height of the bevel, height of everything. Or no, let's just first let's make this bool. Yeah. So the cloner here and here is okay. Now we want a shape. Let's say we take the star or the star and circle we had. Let's make maybe a flower. Why not? Here we have our flower. Go back here. The flower, make it an exit. Okay. Put it in here somewhere. T for scale. Something like this. Then we see we can take a row down here. So this is the z-axis, should be the second. Gonna go one down here. No. What's wrong here? There is something wrong. Oh, of course there's something wrong. We have our Xpresso for this. We have our user data. Okay, this was the wrong one. Because of I rotated the cloner. Now it's Z and X is not the same, so I go to my user data, manage user data. Call this Z. Not 7, Z, this X and put this over the Z. Okay. Yes, now here. Everything is okay. Then take our flower, make an extrusion. In y-axis, let's say 150. Null. So, okay, just that it is over our hexagons, doesn't matter how big this is. Okay. Now we take our cloner 2 here and put it in a pool object. Go here, so activate the cloner 2, go near and hold your Alt key and click on pool. The next thing is we drag this extrude in the pool and we see nothing. Go to our pool, go here to intersect, then disable high quality and we are done. Now it's getting a little slower, but of course we have now the PC to calculate and have lots of polygons, and it doesn't look nice. So we could try, here. So now it looks better. Okay, and now render this. It looks weird, but that's no problem. We take, for the test purposes, we take just the floor, and that should work. Okay. Now render it. That looks much better. Make a new material just now, and just put it on the pool. Now we have a nice thing. For the flower, we have, you see here, we have some steps here. We can try this maybe with the, to avoid with the phone tag. No. Or try it here. Let's go to uniform and make this higher. Or just try another. Go back to 8 here. Subdivided. Subdivided looks better. The maximum length maybe with 5. Yeah, now we have it round and smooth. Okay. And of course with the float plane there, let's take this whole thing in a take this flower. I just want to take a null object in the middle of the flower, so I activate the flower, go to the objects, hold my Alt key and press on the null. Drag out the flower back to the extrude. I just need the null. So the null has now the same position as the flower, and the flower is in the middle of here, in the middle of the cloner. And what I want to do is just take this whole thing in this null here with the effectors, go to the null. What's the coordination we have here? We want now the axis here should be null in the Y. No. Back. I just want to have this everything in the middle, so just click here and go to the reset PSR. I have it here, the reset PSR on my toolbar, but you can press shift. What was it? Shift? No. Shift. No. Huh. Anyway, I will press on my reset PSR, so I'm in the middle here. And just go down. Oops. To the floor. Okay, now I'm in the middle with everything. I hope you knew what I did now. The next thing, I would take my plane float here and drag it to about here, so I can work better. Yeah, everything works fine now. And everything should be now on the floor, yes. Okay. What I did is just to put this whole cloner thing and everything more in the middle, so that the X and Z axis is by null. Because it was, you have seen it was totally offset. Okay. Good. That's it so far. Okay. Now, let's say we make a texture for this. Sorry that I'm a little slow today, but I think I didn't sleep enough. So, yeah, make the material for this one, for this spool object. So, I want a gold material, so I go to my reflectance channel here, remove the specular, go to GGX. Oh, come on. Come here. So, Trinell, Contactor, gold, finger. No, but little blurriness should be enough. And put it, I have it on my pool, okay. And instead of the floor, I take my scene rig, Nikomedias Scene Rig 2.1 is the newest one. Make the floor bigger. Okay. And you see, if you have a reflective material on your objects, you see it just black with this grow shading. Quick shading isn't better, and constant shading isn't better too. The thing what you can do is you can press NQ on your keyboard and it blends out the textures. So we can work here a little better. Okay, let's see what we have now. Go in my render settings for the moment. Low is okay, so we see very fast what we get. Make it with global illumination, why not? And make an interactive render region. Now we won't see much because we have nothing to from above. There's nothing to reflect in the object, of course. So the next thing I need in my render rig, in my lighting rig, is we go to the HDRI settings. You can buy it. You find some download links. So some links in the description where you can buy the Pro rig, but I have a light version 2 of it, and you can light it with the light version 2. But you have with the Pro version you have a lot more possibilities. So, but now, of course, you can light it however you want. You don't have to light it with the rig. Go to the studios and take this one studio here in, just for testing. And you see immediately we get better lighting. And now let's try to take the preview on so we see where our lighting, where our reflections are. So we don't see it because I have now disabled the textures. So NQ again to enable the textures. And now I should see my preview for the reflections. I don't see it because it's too small. Go here and make it bigger. Yeah, here is it. Now say something like this. Yes, okay. This is just a very, very low render you see, but I just want to see how the lights work, and then I can make a better render. So here maybe I want some brighter reflections. Maybe it's almost too bad. And I don't want a white background, a white floor. So let's go to our background and floor. Here's the background color, which is the floor color too. And I made here a preset for me for a dark floor. See here, dark floor. And that looks sure better, yeah. Let's see how it looks without global illumination. A little brighter. Okay, and without ambient occlusion. Oh, ambient occlusion we need for the floor. But I have to view ambient occlusion here in the hexagons, I see. So we go back to our material. Go to the diffusion channel, texture, effects, and take here an ambient occlusion. Now it won't do nothing, I think, yes. We need to affect reflections, no specular, we don't have specular, but immediately if I check the effect reflections, you should see a change. Yeah, now see, it looks much better. Okay. Now, away with the active render settings, we can go. We can disable the preview, NQ, disable the textures, and make a middle range render, so like this. I want it with global illumination. Let's say 1000, and let's render this. Okay, this is very nice so far. Was normally what I do, of course, we have in my scene rig, when you buy it, you get many different lighting maps. So if I go here to my maps, yeah, don't know why a bridge didn't actualize this. I go to my old ones. Let's see. This one you can take it and just drag it in this file slot. No. Make an interactive render. And now it's, of course, it's too bright with this new file. Go back with the brightness to 0. I go back with the render settings for this too low. For the interactive render. Should work much faster, you see. Okay. Yeah, let's say that's okay for the moment, because we want to do more. We want to. I don't know if you want. I want. We want to make some user data, some more user data. For this, first I make a camera, so don't lose this angle here. Don't want to see it in the editor. Give it a protection tag. So. Okay. And now we go to our Xpresso. Just double click on the Xpresso tag. Here. What I want to do now is I want. Oops. I want to change. Can change the height of the extrusion. I want to be able to change the height of the bevel and the rounding of the bevel. So this is not so hard, but we have one problem. Of course we have one problem. Go here and no, I want no floor. Floor off. If I change the radius now of this, disable the pool, and yeah, the problem is we have here two extrusions, and we just have this one radius in our Xpresso, but we need this one too. So every extrusion, every hexagon have the same radius, but it's quite easy to do. This is the no bevel was the second one, yes. So I go here, take this inside, put the radius of this inside in the blue box here, and just connect this radius with this radius. So now everything, yeah, now it looks good. You see, this was before we had. Come on. No, of course, now it works because everything. Now, if we change the radius here, let's see. It does not fit here, and as soon as I connect these two, we have a flat plane surface. Yes, almost forgot. Okay, that's it. Maybe save it. So next thing is I want the height of the extrusion. So we go to our control, to the user data, manage user data. For the height of the extrusion, we can take the same thing here, the same settings like the radius. So just copy it, hold your control key and drag it down. This is extrusion. Okay. Min max is this, so everything okay. Default value 100 is okay for me. Next is I want the bevel, the height of the bevel. So we can copy this again. Bevel. And but the bevel we don't need a max of 1000. Here we need maximum, I would say maximum 20. So here, give it here in the maximum 50. Maybe someone need more. And a default value of 10 or 5 better. Okay. And now we need bevel height. No, not the bevel rounding. This is the bevel height. We need the bevel rounding. We can take this one with the integer slider. Copy it. Bevel rounding. Okay. Step 1 is okay. A minimum of 1. A maximum of, I would say 20, and here min max, here 10, and the default value of 3. Okay, but this you can set this however you want, so it doesn't have to be the same numbers here. Okay. Now to change the extrusion, we go to the, we can everything drag here in our control. Let's say like this, and put it somewhere here. That's okay. Make this control a little bigger. Control, so extrusion, and the red corner. And we want to change this to here. So make extrusion here. Or I could do something with, to show you something with set driver, set driven. Ah, later. In the next tutorial then I'll show you another thing, but here the extrude, no bevel. We need the movement. Go here to object, movement Y, extrusion, okay. And the same we do with the extrusion no bevel. Movement Y, object movement Y, okay. And with the extrude bevel we need something more. We need under caps the radius of the caps, but first, I know it, radius of the caps we need, and cap radius, and we need the steps here, and cap steps, okay. So go back to our control, put in the bevel, and connect it with the end cap radius. Bevel rounding, the red corner here, and end cap steps. Normally that should be it. Let's see what we get. Back to our controls, here the extrusion. Okay. And that should go over. Yes. Okay, now the bevel height works too. Can go over it. Make it with the line so we see it. And with the roundings, if we don't want round. Okay. Everything works. What I don't see now is floor. Okay. Let's try it here. But we are not in the middle anymore here, I think. Did I miss it? But it's okay. Ah, it is because of the radius. Oh. Yeah, this was because of the radius. So 10. Of course, if you make the radius bigger, but it works fine. It works really nice, and it works fast. It is so, and again. Let's activate our thing here. Let's activate our camera and we'll look if everything is the old one. Works. And here is the rounding. Yes. No. Of course, yes, but I want to float. I want to see the transition. Yes, it works. Okay, now of course we can go to our render settings, go to the middle one, and take 2080. Okay, render it. Let's see how long it needs. It looks quite nice. And as I said, if you want another reflection, just I go back into low settings for this reason. Make our render setting, our interactive render, and we can take renders whatever we want. And now I think I know why this thing. Of course. For each one? Come on. I don't need this now. Go back. We can go in the Ipl Loader. If you don't know what this is, I have it in one of my earlier tutorials, and the download link is in the description. And this Ipl Loader has HDRI Studios too. Let's see what we get here. Of course, it doesn't. It's every time the same. So, but you know what I mean. You just can take any map or any picture, any HDRI. It doesn't have to be an HDRI what you put in here, but with an HDRI you get much better lighting and reflections. So, but this is okay for the moment. Yeah, if you want to have some reflections, maybe you can go to the background in floor settings, put the reflections on, and give some reflections. See, now we have reflections, but what blurry reflections. Get everything quite fast. Okay, let's say that's it for this tutorial now. This is the first part, we would say. And in the second part, I show you how we can animate this whole thing and make some camera moves and everything. So we get maybe a nice intro or something else with your logo or with your initials or something else, whatever you want. I hope it was okay for you. Sorry that I was a little slow today, but I slept not enough, I think, but I had guests until in the morning. But I wanted to make a tutorial, so I want to make at least one tutorial a week, and so I wanted to do this one. Okay, the next part will come soon. This is a shorter part. This was the hard one. And yeah, of course, and I've seen how you let's take this away, Alt R or Command R. So, and if you want just another thing here, so to make an spline, put it in the extrude knob, and you have your another whatever you want. Let's say, whoop, takes spline, but you should take it on the same position. So if you want something on the same position as another object, activate this object, and let's see, we want now make an let's make a star again. So hold your Alt key and press on the star. Now it's a parent to this. But now if we have the star, we need the star, of course, to the set here. We have it exactly in the same position. You see, it's in the middle of the flower. It's exactly in the same position. And so you can work. Now we can take out the flower here, put in the star, make the star bigger, T for scale, make it from above, so we see it better, something like this. Okay. Don't need this anymore. And if we activate the pull now, we have our star. And it out. And here is our star. With the same reflections, with the same everything. Okay. So, then bye-bye. Have a nice, what day we have? Sunday. And yes, see you hopefully next time. Bye bye and tschüss.